From Collaborate Studios in Lynbrook, this is Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookWhoMadeIt.org. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family. At the Embassy Diner, mention Sports Bash, you get a free dessert with your meal. By Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at coachescollectiblesny.com. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. Make sure you're following along on Governor's Comedy Club podcast page on YouTube and Facebook, and follow Sports Bash Media on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And once again, we are not at Governor's. There is still a construction issue going on at the facility, so we are here at the beautiful Collaborate Studios in Lynbrook. Again, we thank Chris Ganem and his staff for having us here. So for the time being, we'll be broadcasting the show live on the Sports Bash Media Facebook and YouTube pages. So we thank all of our viewers for following us back over to Sports Bash Media. And as far as an update of going back to Governor's, we haven't received that yet. They are working on it, and hopefully, and again, any way that comes out of my mouth, it sounds like a dig towards Chris, and I don't want it to sound that way. But we should be back, hopefully, in our regular studios in short order, or maybe not, and we'll have an extended stay. We'll have to take Chris out to lunch one day for his hospitality and welcoming us back here to Collaborate. Coming up on the show, we'll talk some Yankees baseball with Yankees broadcaster Emmanuel Barbari, a good friend of the program. He has been on the show before, so we look forward to talking some Yankees with him. I was going to lead with the Yankees today on the monologue, which is coming up in just a minute. However, they won yesterday. Had they lost yesterday, I would have started screaming again. But they did win yesterday, so I'll reserve my Yankee commentary until we get to Emmanuel at around 2:45, 2:50. So just hold on tight for my thoughts on the Yankees in a little bit. It is Thursday, and we missed him last week because we didn't have a second show last week. But Wiz is here. We're going to play Stump the Wiz, kind of a makeshift version of Stump the Wiz is coming up because we don't have Tony Walker's countdown clock with music. So we are going to use my handy-dandy cell phone to give Wiz 2 minutes on the clock a little bit later on. You know, Chris Ganem has not heard Stump the Wiz in quite some time. So he's actually excited to do it, but we did not send him the countdown clock. So we're just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and use my cell phone to give him 2 minutes on the clock. And we have a multiple-choice question for Wiz later on today. And you know how he loves the multiple-choice questions. and I'll give you a little tease. There's 5 parts to the question today. So I'm thinking over the next 30 or 40 minutes, when we get to Stump the Wiz, am I in a good mood today where I say, well, you can get 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, or do I be a stickler and say that he should get 5 out of 5? So, Tony, if Tony was here, he would say, no, 5 out of 5. Chris is probably a little nicer than Tony, so he'll be part of the decision-making process a little bit later on. I am leaning towards 3 out of 5. I'm leaning towards it. Now, I have to look at the answers to the question again when we get closer to it and see how difficult, because I know there's 2 slam dunks of the 5. Now, do I make him get 1 more? Well, let's put it this way. For me, there's 2 slam dunks. We'll see. I'm thinking 3 out of 5, but let's see. I have to look at the questions again. Again, we're going to play Stump the Wiz. We're going to have the TicketBash.com concert calendar. We'll have This Week in Sports History, and we'll take a look at the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. I wanted to start. This is not the real monologue, but I didn't want to forget to bring this up. Major League Baseball history is going to be made this weekend. And it's not a player, it's not a coach, it's not a manager, it's not a trainer, it's not a PR person. It's actually going to be made by an umpire. And if you've been a fan of Major League Baseball, and as long as I have, and I'm 58 years old, but I don't go back, obviously. I'm old, but I don't go all the way back to the beginning of Major League Baseball. I have friends of mine who made it. I'm not going to bring that up. Wiz, why did you raise your hand there? You were not born when Major League Baseball started. I was trying to joke about a friend of mine who's a little older than me.
Oh,
I
thought you meant like ones that are fans.
No. I go back knowledge-wise, I go back very, very far. But if you're a fan of Major League Baseball, you know that there has never been in the history of Major League Baseball a female umpire. And it's interesting because there's a big segment of the population, especially the sports population, of men who want nothing to do with women in sports. I mean, they're just, whether you want to label them as male chauvinist or whatever, or if you fall under the umbrella that, you know, women shouldn't be involved in sports, first of all, that's crazy. It's stupid. It's ignorant. We're in 2025, and women's sports has never been more popular. Women's sports has never been more just viewed so widely, not just here in the United States, but in the entire world. So we're going to have, for the first time ever, a female umpire this weekend, and she's actually a local person, a New Jersey native. Jen Powell is going to become the first female umpire in Major League Baseball history this weekend. The Marlins are taking on the Braves, and that's the series she's going to work. And this is an interesting story for me, not for any other reason of maybe just being selfish and just remembering an old story in my head. But as you know, you've heard me here on the show, I've talked about my 4 years of going to college at Buffalo State. And when I was at Buffalo State College, I went to a lot of Buffalo Bisons AAA baseball games. I was an intern for the Bisons, and I went to a lot of games as a fan, and even went back up after graduating. I've been up there a number of times to go see games, and we're trying to get up there again because I haven't been up there to that ballpark in quite some time. But during my time up there, there was a manager at the AAA level. Her name was Pam Postema. And there was a lot of momentum back then, and this is mid to late 80s. There was a lot of momentum back then for her to eventually get the call to Major League Baseball. But that call never happened. She worked spring training games, but never a regular season game. And I remember too, the minor leagues, they tried so hard to get her that push. And I remember when Pilot Field opened up in Buffalo, the state-of-the-art minor league baseball stadium, and I've lost count as to what the actual name of it is now. I think it was Duntire Park for a while. I don't even know what the name of the stadium is now. But when I was an intern for the Bisons, when the stadium opened in 1988, the stadium was called Pilot Field. And that first year of Pilot Field, there was a AAA All-Star game, and they had Pam Postema as one of the umpires. And they really tried very, very hard, the minor league baseball circles and people around the game. They tried to get her that push. And for whatever reason, again, look, who am I to have any knowledge on what an umpire goes through to get training to get to the major leagues? My older son, Bradley, is a baseball umpire and loves doing it. And he knows he's got a tremendous amount of work ahead of him, working summers and whenever he can, now that he's back in college. But he's got a lot of work to do, and he knows it. And we know other people who are umpires. It takes a lot just to get to the minor leagues. Forget about moving up to high school and college and things like that. But to get to the major leagues, it takes a really, really special effort and ability. And for Jen Powell, that call has come, and she's going to work. There's always a number of fill-in umpires during the course of the season, and because umpires take vacations. So she is going to get the call this weekend. And I think she deserves a tremendous amount of credit. If these are the only 3 games she gets to work, she is a pioneer. She has done what a lot of women have done in other aspects of sports, whether it was a woman to become a play-by-play broadcaster for a Major League Baseball game, whether it was a woman who became a coach for an NFL team or an executive for a team. You know, it seems like we're talking a lot about women being pioneers in sports, and I think it's a great thing. I really, and one of the reasons why I feel that way is because in my career, I have worked with a lot of women in sports. And there's a lot of them who I've enjoyed working with, and there's probably been a few who I don't enjoy working with. And that goes for the men that I've worked with in my career too. You can't look at ability in life just because of the sex of the person. And I think this is wonderful that she's getting this chance. I think it's great. I hope this opens up the door for other women who want to get that opportunity. If they see her, whether it's behind the plate or at first base, second base, third base, whatever it is, I hope she inspires young girls who love baseball, who say, you know what, I'm going to be an umpire just like Jen. I want to do this because of that person with another sport. Remember when Danica Patrick became a race car driver, she inspired other women to do it. Donna Ponte, who was an NFL executive, someday she's going to be a general manager. She is. She used to work for the Jets. She's a brilliant football mind. She's going to be a GM one day. There's no question about it. So when you look at the success that the WNBA has had over the last few years, I know Caitlin Clark has had a lot to do with it. The New York Liberty resurgence here in New York and their explosion of that franchise since they moved to Barclays Center. You know, things are happening. There's a women's professional hockey league now, and there's a women's pro softball league now. I mean, there's so many opportunities for women. I mean, I can't tell you how many females are now entrenched in sportscasting and sports broadcasting. And I'm very, very fortunate to have worked with a lot of great ones and still do. But I think this is wonderful for the game of baseball. I think this is great for what's going on in the world right now with the explosion of women in sports. And I think anybody who looks at this in any kind of anti-women in sports type of thing, I feel bad for you. I really do. And I know Emmanuel is on the line with us, but I'm going to get to him in just a second. I want to make this one other point, which is why I really feel strongly about women in sports. And and sports is for everyone. I know there's a big push about, whether it doesn't matter what your sex is, what your sexual orientation is. It doesn't matter. Sports is for everyone. For every little kid on a block on Long Island playing baseball, there are little girls who are doing it too. Same for soccer, same for hockey. Football, flag football has exploded. My son Bradley just checked into college yesterday. He's going to Post University. They just started a flag football team for women. It's been exploding here on Long Island at the high school level. And I think now when you look at Jen Powell being a Major League Baseball umpire this weekend, I think that's going to do wonders for women in sports. And I bring it up because a number of years ago, my family and I were at a get together with some other families, and there was someone who was at that get together and brought up. I don't want to disparage her because she's a friend of mine, but there was a man at this get together who disparaged somebody, female, who works in the New York market. And some of the things that this person said about that person was so flipping disgusting. And that person is a friend of mine. I've worked with that person before. That person was so nice to me when I was an intern years and years ago at WFAN. And I still consider her a close friend right now. And I was so nauseated by what that person was saying. Oh, women don't belong in sports. Women shouldn't be doing this. I don't want to hear a woman talk about sports. Blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you something. I know a lot of women, including my wife, who can run circles around some men that I know when it comes to sports knowledge. I've worked with some tremendous people in the sports industry. So when someone says something that women should not be involved in sports, it actually disgusts me, especially when a comment was made about somebody who I consider a friend. So when I saw this the other day, I smiled. Jen Powell, congratulations, Mazel Tov, all the things. Have a great weekend series. Do a great job, and hopefully it's not the last that we'll hear from her. Hopefully she does a wonderful, wonderful job. And hey, you never know. Maybe you'll see her at Yankee Stadium or Citi Field at some point in the future. We're going to blow off the commercial break, Chris, because our guest is on the show, and we're so fortunate to have this young man as and I can call him a young man because I'm an old fart at 58 years old, so I can definitely call him a young man. And I've known him since he was a lot younger than he is right now. We're going to talk some Yankee baseball with a member of the Yankees radio broadcast team on the WFAN Odyssey Yankees network, and a good friend of mine, a good friend of the program. Hello, Emmanuel Berbari. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Peter. Good to see you. And I think you're selling yourself a little bit short. You're not that old. You're not as old.
No. Come on, Emmanuel. It's not that long ago that I saw you at the studios. You see what I look like. I very, very little hair, and getting up there. Just celebrated number 58. So
happy birthday.
You know what? But let me tell you. Well, thank you. It was in July. But I being around a lot of younger people at the station, including yourself, makes me feel a little younger.
Well, that means a lot. If I can be of any contribution, and especially one that brings youth into your life, that's high praise. I appreciate that.
It's Emmanuel. It's for me these days. It's all about finding the fountain of youth, as you know. So let's talk about a shared passion when it comes to sports, and that's the New York Yankees. And obviously, the last couple of months have not gone very well for the Bombers. In fact, the recent 5-game losing streak came to an end yesterday with the 3-2 win over Texas. I guess it's simplistic to say, because maybe it's an overused take in sports radio, but I'll bring it up anyway. Boy, the Yankees really needed that yesterday, didn't they?
It's funny. I was getting ready for post game yesterday, and I'm like, can I really use the word need? Because there have been a lot of games lately where you're like, oh, they needed that one, or it would have been really nice to have that one. But Peter, I agree with you. They really needed that game. Imagine the conversation you and I are having right now. If the Yankees lose that game, they go 0-6 on the road trip. They have an off day into this huge weekend against the Houston Astros. And they just needed something to resuscitate themselves. And also the way they did it was really nice, where you have a really timely home run off the bench from Paul Goldschmidt. You play clean defense. We saw 3 smooth double plays turned. You had David Bednar after all the woes from Devin Williams. David Bednar goes 42 pitches in a 5-out save. What a gutty effort that was. So yeah. I think it's just a much better feeling and a much happier flight home.
Yeah, there's no question about it. They really needed it. If they lose that game, then they've got the off day today to think about it, and then they got their arch rivals, I guess you could say, from the postseason experiences of the Astros coming in. But they definitely needed that win, and I guess they come home with a much better feel of things. You mentioned Bednar, and that really has been annoying to people who follow the Yankees since the trading deadline. But they bring in all these brand new arms to the bullpen, and right away the first night they implode. They've imploded a few times since then. Jake Bird is option. I blew a gasket on the show the other day that, how embarrassing is it that one of the pitchers you acquire to fortify the bullpen, you immediately option him after 2 bad outings. So I don't think that was a good look for Brian Cashman the other day. But I hopefully, as you just mentioned, hopefully Bednar's outing yesterday gets him going, and maybe some of the other arms that they acquired can get going here at home over the weekend.
Definitely. And I look at it, the Friday game where everyone was acquired and immediately everyone had a hand, including Jose Caballero. So all the new acquisitions had a role in that game.
Bad error in right field.
It was like getting struck by lightning. Like the odds of all that happening in the same exact game, I almost tossed that aside. I'm like, all right, what a fluky thing to happen on the same night, blowing 3 separate leads. But since then, Duvall's looked really good. Bednar's been stellar. Even that second inning, that Friday night in the game they lost, he looked much better than the first inning when he entered in his Yankee debut. Bird's an interesting case because he was really overworked in Colorado. So I think this send down not only looks to get him right, but maybe to replenish him a little bit for the stretch run. And they'll see how he performs at AAA. But the one concern, I don't have any more concerns about Bednar or Duvall, really. They've settled in nicely. Bird, we'll see what happens down the road. What do you do with Devin Williams moving forward? And I think it's clear he's not going to be
DFA. DFA.
I don't think he's been closing baseball. How do you reestablish a role? Because he's going to be on this team. Whether people like it or not, he's going to be on this team the rest of the way.
Yeah, and listen, it's been a while. I'm trying to think, Emmanuel. the last player that the Yankees had. I've been to some games as a fan this year and obviously watched a lot, and you're being around FAN a lot, you hear people talk about it, but I can't remember the last Yankee that was so universally disliked by the fan base, because every time he comes into the game, whether you're at Yankee Stadium, you can feel it when you're at Yankee Stadium. Oh my God, they're bringing him in. You're watching a game at home, they bring him in. You check out Twitter, you check out other social media, and fans are in an uproar. Like, how do they bring this guy in? They bring him in back-to-back days after what happened last night. They're bringing him back in. I feel for the guy as a person if he comes into a game this weekend and the fans start booing him.
Yeah, you gotta have some empathy when you just think of what could be going through his mind in these situations. And the first month of the year where he gets off to as disastrous a start as you can in a new uniform, especially on this stage. He hasn't really failed in his major league career, let alone on the New York Yankees stage. And then he bounces back and has a great couple of months, now falls flat once again. I think the more concerning thing is you see the misplay by Dominguez in left field the other night, and it's like we all knew he's not in a position to bounce back from this. Other pitchers can shake it off, and ones that are at the top of their game or ones that have great resolve in the late innings. I don't look at Devin Williams that way right now, so it didn't surprise me at all that it followed directly a couple of walks. So that's what needs to change if he's going to have any sort of big role.
My guest here on Sports Bash is my good friend Emmanuel Barbari from the Yankees radio broadcast team. He handles the Yankees post-game show. He fills in for Dave Sims to work with Susan Waldman every now and then. He's done a bunch of Yankee games play-by-play over the last couple of years, and we're talking Yankee baseball with him. Obviously, a sight for sore eyes, Emmanuel, was the return this week of Aaron Judge, even though only in a DH role. And with that return and with that presence in the lineup, obviously, because he has to be the DH until he is cleared to resume his role in right field, that means that you have Giancarlo Stanton, who has done very well since he came off the injured list. You basically have a situation where he can't play the field. So the Yankees lose, they get Judge's bat back, but now they lose Stanton's bat in the lineup unless he comes in as a pinch hitter. So, it was great to have Judge back, but they really need to get Judge, back in the swing of things defensively, so they can get Stanton back in the lineup as well.
And sort of an inopportune time to lose Stanton's bat. You never want to lose his bat, but the way he's been dialed in lately, he's in that postseason Stanton type of mode. So this is the worst possible time for any stretch to lose Giancarlo Stanton. And it's kind of a puzzle with their roster right now, at least until Judge, we know he could play the field consistently. And that's still an open question. Maybe he tries it out and maybe he's uncomfortable with it. We don't know how the flexor strain reacts when he tries to really rip a throw off. So time will tell on that front. But the Yankees have a DH in Judge. They have a DH in Stanton. Ben Rice is really a DH, and you don't want to overplay your hand with him over at first base while Austin Wells is catching, because then there's your backup catcher if you want to make a change late in the game. And then Jason Dominguez, more or less, he's not part of your A outfield in terms of your defensive alignment. So the Yankees just have a puzzle in terms of guys they want in the lineup, but aren't necessarily part of their best defensive lineup. And Giancarlo Stanton would play right into that. If they want to give him some outfield run while Aaron Judge figures out whether he can play right field consistently, then you're sacrificing defensively. So I'm really curious, at least the next week or so, how this is all going to shake out.
Emmanuel, do you think the Yankees will ever consider giving Judge a look at first base?
I do, but I don't think that's a short-term thing. We've seen him toy around with it. A lot of guys will toy around with things, whether it's inside work or spring training. I think the Yankees have directly acknowledged, this could be something down the road, but I don't see it now. I think it would be too short-term to deploy that the rest of this season in a pennant race. And I think next season, we'll see. I look at it as a 2-3 years from now thing, but let's say the flexor strain continues to be a problem, or he avoids surgery at some point, but they want to make sure they keep him out of making these crazy throws in right field that he's been ridiculous at it for years. Yeah. I mean, no one runs on Aaron Judge unless you want to be thrown out. So I think maybe next year, but I'm thinking more likely 2-3 years down the road.
And another reason why I brought that question up is because, and I'm so glad they didn't trade him at the trading deadline, but Yankee fans are salivating over the impending, whether it's this year or next year or the year after, but the arrival of Spencer Jones, who has just been killing it in the minor leagues this year, got the promotion to AAA, has done great. In fact, there was one game where he had 3 home runs in one game. And at some point, you have to start, if you're the Yankees front office and field manager and coaches, you have to start planning for Spencer Jones's arrival somewhere. So there's got to be a spot for him. But from what you've heard, how close do you think Spencer Jones is to being in the Bronx?
I think him not getting moved, and the Yankees won't say the word untouchable, but it's elevated to that level of prospect status once again with Spencer Jones. I think that tells you all you need to know. Now, it's sort of a logjam the remainder of this season with Trent Grisham still under contract, having the year that he's had. Jason Dominguez out there, Cody Bellinger playing at an all-star level essentially all year. The only thing is time wasn't on his side to be an all-star, but he's been that good his first year with the Yankees. You have Aaron Judge. You have Giancarlo Stanton, who's no longer an outfielder, but could be maybe the next week until Aaron Judge is ready full bore out in right field. So there is a logjam. Next year, I think it's very much in play. Yeah, the strikeout rate people could still look at as a little concerning, but it's dropped. And it's undeniable what he does when he makes contact with the ball, it leaves the park. That's what's happening with Spencer Jones. And he's a freak athlete. We don't see guys like that patrolling center field as easily as Spencer Jones does. And he steals bases. He's a 5-tool player. So I look at Spencer Jones as somebody they're very high on. And it's going to be interesting how the cards sort of shuffle, because I think top priority this offseason now will be making sure Cody Bellinger's back. And then
I would think so. Absolutely. They got to bring him back.
They have to. He's just been a perfect Yankee. He can play 4 positions at an all-star level. He's an incredible outfielder, situational hitter, not just a power hitter. The way he approaches 2 strikes, he's such a good influence on the rest of the team, such a good leader in that clubhouse. So I think Bellinger is going to be back. Judge is in the equation. We'll see with the health and how much of an outfielder he is down the road. But you're going to have Bellinger and Judge and Dominguez in that fold. Where does Spencer Jones fit in? I think he would be the most natural, if he continues at this rate, at this clip, to take that Grisham spot on the roster.
So, Emmanuel, here's the big, $1 million question as we sit here and talk on this Thursday. The Yankees sit in 3rd place in the American League East, behind the Red Sox, who are in 2nd, the Blue Jays in 1st. Obviously, the Yankees are still in a playoff spot, so that's the good thing. But when you look to the home stretch here, less than 50 games to go, how do you view the Yankees right now after the trading deadline, getting through the losing streak, breaking through yesterday? Can you see this Yankee team getting their act together before October comes?
I think they can. 47 games is a lot of time. If this was happening in late September and they were about to miss out on a playoff spot altogether, like if they lost yesterday, they would have been on the outside looking in, but with 47 games to go. So there's still a lot of baseball to be played, even though it is getting late. We're no longer in it's May, there's so much time type of territory of the season. I just think they have too much talent on this team to not make a run at some point. And if they don't make a run, questions are going to be raised. Like, what happened here? I don't look around this roster and see gaping holes all over the place. You look at their infield, you look at their outfield, their starting pitching might be a little shallow depth-wise, but you still have the pedigree of arms to make a run in October, and the bullpen stacked. I mean, now that Bednar and Doval have settled in, there's no reason you can't shorten games to the 5th or 6th inning. So I look around this roster. It's a matter of playing to your potential. Will that potential be unlocked? If it is, I think they're going to be a playoff team, and then you roll the dice in a wide-open American League. But there's a lot of time left, which is why I say it can happen. If we were saying 10 games to go and they were playing at this clip for the last couple of months, I'd be alarmed. But there's a lot of time left in my mind.
And I think the guy, Emmanuel, that breathed the biggest sigh of relief yesterday was Aaron Boone, the manager, because he has just been getting it, left and right from the media after each and every game. And of course, the fan base too, reacting on social media. A lot of people feel that, he should have been, the Yankees aren't big on, since, other than the Billy Martin days, but the Yankees don't normally fire a manager during the season. It's not very often that you see that, but a lot of people were calling for maybe the Yankees to make a big splash and fire Boone and find somebody else. But I certainly think these last 47 games in the playoffs, I think will tell the story of whether Boone comes back in 2026.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned final 47 games in the playoffs, because as loud as the noise or high the temperature can rise with the Aaron Boone, discourse here, I think it's a foregone conclusion. He's leading this team. the rest of the season. It's on him and his coaching staff we're talking about unpacking that potential. If they can get that done and get this team to the playoffs, and they'll have as good a shot as any to go out and make a run in this American League, it's on them to unpack that potential and to make sure that the team isn't dwelling on, hey, we had a crushing loss. Aaron Boone was talking about this. We have a crushing loss in Miami. We blow leads of 6-0, 9-4, 12-10. It seemed like the team is having a problem bouncing back from that and letting one day bleed into the next. That comes down to leadership. So I think how this team responds and plays these final 47 games, getting into the postseason, Aaron Boone's their manager until proven otherwise. So now it's on these final 47 games and how the Yankees play as opposed to what their potential is, which I think their potential is limitless compared to the way they played.
And let me close with this. Obviously, the Yankees broadcast booth went through a big change during the offseason with John Sterling's retirement, and now Dave Sims comes in after a long time in Seattle with the Mariners, and he's the new primary play-by-play announcer. And you've had a chance to fill in for him a little bit this year. What's it been like working? I know your feelings about Susan. I think we both, revere Susan, not just as a coworker, but also as a friend. But I know how you feel about her. But what's it been like working with Dave Sims this year?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I always tell people who ask me about Dave, I had met him a couple of times, but sort of briefly in passing when he would come in with Seattle. So I didn't really get to know him on more of that personal level. But it was sort of cutting through the noise right away in spring training in the way he approached me, and we sort of just talked about anything. It could be about the team. It could be about his memories in the business or baseball memories, basketball memories that he would have, because we love talking college hoops as well. So
he loves basketball. I know that he loves basketball.
He loves his basketball. And one of the funny first encounters I had with him, he likes to call me Big E from time to time. He's like, "Do you even know who the Big E is?" Referring to old school NBA. So
Elvin Hayes.
Yeah, exactly. So we get to a lot of those conversations and get to joke around a little bit. So he's been awesome as a person who's become a friend, but also a mentor. And it's just been fun being a fly on the wall sometimes in the booth, part of the broadcast booth. It's really something else.
No question about it. Emmanuel, my friend, it's always a pleasure to have you on my show. I appreciate it. You know how I feel about you and your career and your ascension and all your success. I'm extremely proud of you and excited for you and what's to come ahead. So I'm already looking forward to having you back on as we get closer to the playoffs and maybe during the playoffs.
Absolutely. Count me in for that. I appreciate it, Peter. And as you know, my first professional experience in broadcasting was the Levittown Red Devils. So I'm not, I know it's tongue in cheek, but it's actually true. So I always appreciate you for that and our friendship. It
is for those who hadn't heard the previous conversations we've had with Emmanuel on the show. When he was still in high school, that's where I first met him at a Chaminade sports broadcasters camp, and I actually hired him to do PA announcing. My son Bradley played for the Levittown Red Devils. I did the PA announcing for his team's games, but all the other parents, when they heard me doing it, they're like, why isn't there a PA announcer for some of these other games? So I met this kid from Harbor Fields High School, and he's an amazing young man. Let's give him a shot. And look what you've done. You've gone from the Levittown Red Devils to the New York Yankees.
I like that headline right there. So I appreciate it. Those games were so much fun. And I remember sitting out. It was 2015. I remember I was about to meet my friends to watch a Mets playoff game during that run. And I'm out there in the brisk fall weather and PAing a Levittown Red Devils game. It was the perfect opportunity.
And of course, one of the greatest Red Devils of them all, Bradley Schwartz, is now ready for his sophomore year of college football, checking into Post University yesterday.
Amazing. That's so awesome to hear. And that also makes me feel old. So we're talking about that. The fact that he's a sophomore playing college football.
Stop. Hold it. Emmanuel, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it.
All right, I'll see you soon. All right, thanks. Emmanuel Barbari from the Yankees radio broadcast team. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it is that time of the week. It's time for Stump the Wiz when we come back right after this.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons
By the way,
Foundation
my wife
began
texted
with a
me. She
single
said that the,
heartfelt mission to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get in.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks again to Emmanuel Barbari from the Yankees radio broadcast team. Awesome to have him on, and a great chat about the Bombers. This segment of Sports Bash brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage. Don't forget to mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. The previous segment of Sports Bash was presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. It is time now for the Coaches Collectibles item of the week. We showed this to you for the first time on Tuesday's show. This is a wonderful item. It is an autographed framed photo of golfer John Daly. And as you remember, we talked about it the other day. Daly is in the new movie Happy Gilmore 2, and he was hysterically funny in that movie. So, Coaches Collectibles, our friend Dom Vecchia over there has this great John Daly autographed photo, and we hope we can catch that photo. Do we find it, Chris?
10 seconds. Well, not even.
Oh, there it is. I see it. It's coming on the screen. Chris is outlining it, and we're going to show it to you in just one moment. Let's go. And there you go. There's the picture of John Daly that I was looking for. John, and he's got a cigarette in his mouth, which I find it's funny. I don't smoke, and I think it's disgusting if you do, but that's my opinion. I shouldn't tell you what to do with your life. But it is a funny picture of John Daly smoking, and it's autographed. It's a great framed item, so you'll want to check out Coaches Collectibles online at coachescollectiblesny.com, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Well, it is that time of the week. It is time where we bring in the Brainiac. He is unquestionably one of the smartest sports people, knowledge of sports I've ever surrounded myself with. This goes back to the old show at LI News Radio, and we have we did a few shows here back in the day, and now he is back with us here in Lynbrook. The Wiz is here. Hello, sir.
Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate you those for the very kind words, and
I don't usually give those words out,
which makes them even more special. Thank you very much.
All right. So are you ready to go?
I'm always ready.
Okay, here we go. Time to play Stump the Wiz. We don't have Tony Walker here, so I have to have the 2 minutes on my watch, on my phone here.
It's fine.
So this is what we do. We ask the viewers, the listeners, people who are with us every week, DM your best sports trivia questions to Sportsbash Media's X, Instagram, and Facebook pages. If we pick your question and you stump the Wiz, and we have not been able to give this prize out from our good friends at Coaches Collectibles, is a Darryl Strawberry autographed framed photo. No, that's not framed. I'm sorry. Just a Darryl Strawberry autographed photo. I don't believe it's framed. It's not, but it is autographed. So you can just go to, Michael's or Dollar Tree, whatever you want to do, and get a really nice frame for this Darryl Strawberry autographed photo if you win it. Today's contestant is our good friend Franklin Schweitzer from Wantagh, who is one of the loyal viewers of the program, and he has a great question. And again, I've been thinking about it's a 5-part question.
All right.
Do we ask you for 3 of the 5, 4 of the 5, or 5 of the 5? Chris, what do you think we should do for Wiz today?
5 of 5.
So you're following Tony, so he's being nasty, right?
Well, he fills in that role today, so I guess it only makes
It's more fun.
Right. I was originally thinking of 3 out of 5, but now since you went 5 out of 5 and I wanted 3 out of 5, I think we should split the difference.
I agree.
We'll go 4 out of 5.
I'd split the difference.
Okay, so we need you to get 4 out of the 5 answers to this question. Here we go. You ready?
Okay.
The question is, name the 5 left-handed pitchers on the 1980 Yankees to win at least 1 game that season. 5 left-handed pitchers on the 1980 Yankees to win at least 1 game. I have 2 minutes on the clock, and away we go.
Goose Gossage, I'm guessing, was on there. Right?
Goose Gossage was a right-handed closer.
Why was I thinking of him as a lefty?
Well, I don't know why, but he's right-handed.
Was Catfish Hunter left-handed?
No.
No. I'm trying to really think about this.
And I don't think Catfish was on the Yankees anymore by 1980.
Because I know it was like the late 70s for him, so I had to really think about it.
We're down to just over 1 minute and 30 seconds. Franklin Schweitzer from Wantagh is watching at home or his office, wherever he might be. Looking forward to adding that Darryl Strawberry autograph photo to his collection. 5 Yankee left-handers on the 1980 team to win at least 1 game.
5 1980s.
I can't. 2 of these should have been slam dunks for you.
Oh, I don't know why I'm like
1 minute to go.
I don't know why I'm faltering to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like me usually. It was with the Yankees during that time in the 80s.
5-part question. So far, he has not gotten.
Yeah, this is really bad on my end.
Yeah, and we're down to 47 seconds to go. Franklin Schweitzer, start getting those framing hands ready to go because I think you're getting this picture. You have no clue as to any left-handers on the 1980 Yankees.
I know their names, but
Think about the 78 and 77 Yankees.
I'm trying to think of them. I don't know why. I'm just like blanking for whatever reason. The guy with the Ron. I don't know.
15 seconds to go.
Why am I blanking?
We're down to 10 seconds to go. Must be the summer heat.
Maybe it's my belching. It's been
We're down to 5. Yeah, we've heard that. 3 seconds to go. 2, 1. One of the most disappointing. That's my clock going
It's
off.
disappointing on my end too. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it was tremendously disappointing, but I'll tell you who's not disappointed.
Yeah,
Franklin Schweitzer from Wantagh is going to get a Darryl Strawberry autographed photo because Wiz did not get any of the 5 Yankee left-handers on the 1980 team to win at least 1 game. Are you ready to kick yourself in the butt?
I'm not kicking myself in the rear end. I'm kicking myself in the back of the head.
Tommy John.
Yeah, Tommy John.
You had half of this guy's name.
Yeah.
Ron Guidry.
I was thinking Guidry. I didn't know how the right way to say it. I knew that I didn't know if John was with the Yankees at this point. Or he was still with the Dodgers.
No. Rudy May. Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard the name Rudy.
Okay.
May. I just didn't know he was with the Yankees at that time.
Tom Underwood.
I know Tom John. Not really familiar with
Okay.
that one.
And Tim Lawler.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's why you had to get 4 out of 5 because I thought maybe you would get the other ones.
Yeah,
But,
I did a huge.
yeah.
That's a bad one on my part, but Franklin Schweitzer. Hope you enjoy that in your office. Nice.
Oh, I know he will. I know he will. I got to run. I got to run through this because I got to catch a train.
Well, I got to say that this week in sports history.
Oh, really quick. You got 60 seconds.
Well, how's this? Well, in this week in 2016, the recently christened Hall of Famer Ishiro Suzuki got his 3,000th Major League Baseball hit while he was a member of the Miami Marlins. It was the highlight of a 10-7 win against the Colorado Rockies, the fellow 1993 brethren. And if you include his Japanese stats, which I do, he would be over 4,000. Yes, I do want to see Japanese people like Sadahara O and Victor Sarfin to get bronze plaques. Not holding my hopes for it, but I'm at least going to say my beliefs on what I want to see.
It is time for the Sports Bash Media poll. By the way, very well done.
Thank you.
It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We poll question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Yesterday, if you're a Met fan, it wasn't a lot of fun. Gavin Williams had a no-hitter through 8 1/3. Juan Soto broke it up. He left after 8 2/3 innings to a nice ovation from the Met fans at Citi Field yesterday, and that had me thinking. I mean, how miserable did Met fans feel watching their team get no hit for 8 1/3, and then you turn around and you celebrate it by giving him a standing ovation? So here's the question. Should Met fans have cheered Gavin Williams after he exited the game? Met fan Wiz, would you have cheered him when he left the game?
Well, yeah. I mean, even if it's an opposing team, I think that's just tradition. It seems like it is for me. Like, no matter if it's a visiting team or home team, when you have a performance like that, you can't help but
I would.
watch.
If that was if somebody did that against the Yankees, no, would not do it. Chris, would you? If it was a no-hitter, I would have clapped. Chris, if your team was shut down by the opposing team and the guy leaves the game, you're a fan of the other team. Are you cheering him when he leaves the game?
Sure.
You're not sure. What kind of a room do we have
Yeah,
here
I mean,
today?
at the same time, like, if you take the team out of it, objectively speaking,
No, the answer is no. You don't cheer the guy unless if he finished off the no-hitter. I get it, but if you don't finish off, you made my life miserable during the day with what you did to my team. And the least you can do is finish off, and I could see history, and my ticket stub and my program would be worth more money.
Yeah, that is also true.
Right.
If he did complete it, it would cause more of a reason. But I think even then, this is like the furthest he's ever gotten to that aspect. That's I know it's not in the history books, but still, that is something that he is going to remember for the rest of his life, probably. And he probably still wants to, like, I get it. I get it from the perspective
Shame
of
on the Met fans yesterday. Shame on them.
listen.
I'm going to hear about this from certain people.
Listen, they've lost.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be nasty, but I got a train to catch.
No,
I'm sorry.
I get it.
Tomorrow, August 8th, Marty Lyons Foundation Bowling for Wishes event at Levittown Lanes in Levittown here on Long Island. A great event. Looking forward to being there with my family and see Marty and Kenny Schroy and all kinds of other special people from the foundation. Wish kids usually come by, and it's always special to see them and watch them bowl. And the food is great and raffle prizes. So if you've got nothing to do tomorrow night, or even if you do have something to do, cancel it and go to the Marty Lyons Foundation Bowling for Wishes event at Levittown Lanes in Levittown. And that will do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Thanks to my guest, Emmanuel Barbari. I knew I was going to do that. Thanks to my guest, Emmanuel Barbari. Thanks to Chris Gaddam and Connor Kalp. Thanks to Wiz for Stump the Wiz. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Coach's Collectibles, and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz, saying thank you for watching and listening. Sports Bash is back on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Have a great